congratulations.
Thank you.
Just your thoughts on the game. It was one we were sort of wary of given Norwich's upturn in the last couple of games, but a really impressive performance and impressive result.
Yeah, I think it's 2 clean sheets against one of the most prolific teams offensively in the league. So I think you've got to applaud the defensive performance first, and then I think as well on the ball it was a very complete performance, and to be able to score a couple of goals and set pieces as well. There wasn't much missing. Bodies on the line when we needed to, and players wanting to be brave on the ball, when it required it. And I thought that, the team, it was a good showing for the team today.
Goals at good times as well. Obviously, an early goal always helps, and then 2 in the space of a few minutes at the start of the second half just sort of killed the contest, really.
Yeah, but I think the goal as well in the beginning of the game reflected a little bit how we started the game. It wasn't the only chance. We were on the front foot. I think we had a little bit of a grip of the game at that point. And then Norwich, to be honest, towards the end of the second half, I think if you slice the first half in 2, I think the second part of the first half, they put us on a little bit of pressure, without necessarily us conceding too many chances, but our game was a little bit disturbed. And then I think in the second half we did everything right in terms of handling that type of pressure. I thought we had quite a lot of threat in behind. We were able to secure the ball and switch sides, and the longer the game went on, the more we felt that we were getting back on top of the game, and that was it was a good way to approach these games.
You gave a debut to Kalmar Ekdal at centre back, and you mentioned the sort of defensive performance, and he pops up with a goal as well. Just your assessment on his display this afternoon, because it's a debut to remember, really.
Yeah, but I think for me it's more the bigger picture of the squad. We're probably heavily reliant on Taylor Harwood-Bellis, Jordan, who, by the way, had to establish themselves during the season. It's not like they came in like the big names defenders. They established themselves during the season, and I'm reliant on Charlie Taylor and his performances. But with the injury of Taylor, I thought we decided to be proactive, and then you saw Amin Al-Dakir with a really good performance last week, Ekdal with a really good performance this week, and all of a sudden we've got a very competitive back line, which it's good for the future.
We've spoken a lot this season as well about different players stepping up at different times, and,
Yeah.
and it happened again today when he said
Yeah.
to Coutinho, and 5 seconds later he scored.
It couldn't be more the example today, and it's not just Viti. I mean, we're missing Jay Rodriguez. He's been such a big player for us this season. We're missing Howard Bellis, of course, again, big player. Muric has been a top player for us this season, and but the team finds ways, and I think that type of I don't know if the word exists, but interchangeability, only improves with time as well. As players play longer with the squad and longer with the team, you can expect that as well from guys who aren't playing all the time.
Just on J-Rod and Aaron Muric, you mentioned there, were they injured? Is that the reason for their absence?
Yeah, but they were like our class it as niggles, where things happen at the wrong time for us, and they all kind of went missing for the same game. But we'll have them back very soon.
And Ashley Barnes obviously played today in J-Rod's absence. He seems to have really sort of kicked on a little bit since the derby, really, when he scored those goals. He's come back from the World Cup and in a really impressive run of form. Just how pleased have you been with?
I think, like I said, I think Ash in the beginning of the season, I think, got written off a little bit too soon, and it took him a while to get to his level. But I think after the Blackburn performance, probably even Crawley, which was the same week, he just kicked on, and I think he drew a line under whatever was in his head that could make him doubt, and he just went and is a war horse for us. Everything he's done all his career, that's what we want from him, and you can see in games like today, he knows exactly what it's about. The timing of his challenges, of his anything he does on the ball's been clean as well. And it gives us such energy as well when we've not got the ball. Plus, he's an organizer, so I couldn't be more positive about a senior player than I am about Ashley Barnes. Yeah.
Last one for me. You've got a FA Cup replay on Tuesday night. against Ipswich. How do you sort of view that one, given the way the draw has potentially panned out for you with a home game against a League One opponent and then a home game against another League One opponent if you were to win?
So what's the starting 11 for you? Do you even know it?
I've got no idea.
Because
I was hoping you might tell me.
No, but the point is say I play with Arrow or say I play with Bailey. Which one's the strongest team? Do I play with VT? Do I play with Connor? Have I weakened? Do we play with Charlie Taylor or Bayer or Egdal? Have we weakened? I think we'll try and do we play with Corky or Cullen? Do we play with Yowie or Brownie? So and so on. Do we put Nathan on or do we put Foster on or do we put back and J-Rod is back? So the point is like whatever team we put out there, I think we have to demand to be competitive, and then just make sure that there's balance. There's a bigger picture of a lot of games, and we have to trust that the squad gets us through this. It's been the case all season.
Thank you. Well done,
Thank you.
Vinny, Jordan Bayer's been involved in a number of partnerships at the heart of the defence this season so far. What does it say about him as a professional that he's able to fuse those kind of relationships so quickly, having not had much time, especially with Hjalmar today?
Yeah, it's and I have to keep going back to Charlie Taylor and Amin as well, because they can't have done anything wrong. They've done ever so well, but they're intelligent players, and that helps. They communicate. They understand when you're asking them to do certain tasks, and they've got the athleticism. So in times where they're not quite in the right position or they've not done everything perfect, they're just able to compensate by the fact that they're not centre backs who move like centre backs. They're centre backs who are quite mobile, who are you could go and run in the forest and they'll run with the midfielders. You know what I mean? So that gives you. I think that helps. That makes the chain a bit stronger. I think that back chain.
Hjalmar, what was your assessment of his debut today? What do you think he did particularly well, and what areas you feel like he could potentially grow?
I'll have to watch the game back, but I think that, you can't have many more difficult games than Norwich away from home with a bit of momentum. So if he's going to improve from this level, and he's only 24, I think, so he's got a lot of margin to improve, it's a good start. And I wouldn't be able to name a lot of things right now that he's done wrong. But as you get to work with players, you start to see more points because nobody's perfect, and we'll try and make sure that he gets to the best level he can be.
It's a 9th championship win on the bounce now, and I think it's the 26th game in succession that you've scored a goal in a league game. You must be delighted with that. Another Hjalmar against, I think that's the 17th player to score this season. Yeah,
no, but I struggled to jump from one league to the other. We didn't win against Ipswich last week, so we're far from perfect, and but the guys have done well. I'll tell you what, they've impressed me in terms of dealing with the different challenges we've come up against. Norwich is completely different than playing Birmingham City away from home. They're two completely different challenges, and the team seems to be able to be flexible enough to go on from one game to the other and still have a good showing. And that's what we have to continue. And then a big thing for me, how I approach it as well, is we are not first. It's a league of however many teams there are in professional football in England, and in that table we are not first. There's teams above us, and we have no reason to be satisfied just because we have to improve still to try and catch up the other ones.
The quality of Johan's delivery seems to have a big say on that second half and development as
well. 90% is execution. 90% of it. For every guy that scores a lot of goals on set pieces, go and thank the guy who's kicked it. And Yowie has consistency, experience, quality. He scored against QPR a direct free kick. I think he put the ball in as well for Bayern when we scored against Coventry. Yeah. So it's the execution, and any young player should be looking at how he takes his set pieces, because that makes the goals.
Do you feel that was as complete as it's been? The graft seemed to match the craft, recovering the ball so quickly.
Yeah. Especially because I rate Norwich, and I think that this could have been such a dangerous game, especially as well because we missed players, and but the team rose again, and they went and did what they've done this season. Yeah.
claiming that as somewhat of a masterstroke, weren't you? Introducing Viti and seconds later he's on the score sheet.
That's what we managers do. I'm joking, lads. I didn't have a clue he was going to score. I put him on for the defensive side of things.
But time to get in there and get his head on the end of it.
Exactly, but you can see Viti though is so brave. The duels he won when he came on, the things he does. You know, we spoke about his position many times this season, but that's what he does. You know, he's given us something as well when he came on, and it was as a winger.
You would be emulating the greatest ever second tier side if you win 10 in a row.
I forgot we're missing Benson as well, so there's a few players missing. But yeah, I don't know. I don't look at that. I really don't. But my experience is teams who've done that, those type of results are teams who don't care about it too much because there's a bigger picture that's more important to us. And today they've set a benchmark. We've got to go over that benchmark again.
You are a team that's obviously used to winning. It could hardly be getting better for it.
Yeah, don't know if you can get used to winning.
No?
I think no. Every time you win, you're thinking. I'm not saying it's fear, but it's that thing of that desire to win. It just keeps you alert, keeps you on your toe. I think the winning culture or the winning attitude doesn't come from. I think it's something that needs to live in the team, like hating to be defeated, and when you are defeated, because we are going to lose games, to react in a way that makes you better. So I can kind of talk you through how we've come to this point, but for the next games, I think every game is so challenging.
At what point of the season did you realise that you had all the ingredients for what you wanted to do?
Now, when the flow in training and in games became a little bit more fluid, so what you do is when you come in and you give a lot of information to the lad, and we do too much sometimes, but you give a lot of information to the lads. It's like almost stop start even during game, during a phase. You see, guys are looking, trying to figure out. But if you look at today's performance, for example, things that wouldn't have happened in the beginning of the season were like the fluidity of Ian Maatsen making angles to receive the ball, and Connor and the timing of the midfielders to drop, and also simple things like in the pressing. You can see with Lyle, there's a couple of times where he doesn't close the pass to the middle. They go switch it, and maybe against in another day this can cause a chance. And once they know it, then they don't think about it anymore. And that's when you get your best performances. And that point came, I think we used the break really well. And that helped us solidify, like, look, this is what you've done it well, this is what we need to improve on, and if then the rest is the team who's done it.
You've caught Norwich, they're resetting, they're almost starting from scratch. Your pressing gave them no chance in the first half. It was almost gone then, wasn't it?
Yeah. But the pressing, to be honest, there's games where we've done it even better. So, but that's what Norwich does as well. They've got some players on the ball who are able to find passes through the lines or around or in behind. But it's something to work on. We did well. Don't get me wrong, they did really well. But the detail of it, we've had games where it was like Middlesbrough at home or whatever, where it was even better. Yeah.
Do you think you can get even better as a side this season?
Yeah, we have to. I'm sure we can. Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.